with her husband and 2 sweet little boys. And she also has spent time all over the country, from Wisconsin to Colorado to Arizona. And you will know that she's not necessarily from Alabama when she starts talking. I've known Meredith for a few years, and so it's my great pleasure to introduce Meredith Parker.
No music? No music?
Next slide.
I saw Christmas today. I guess they, no music? All right. John was like, you don't need a theme song? I said, everyone needs a theme song, right? Let's be brave and walk in that place. Everybody needs that. So, I typically write speeches based on songs I'm feeling in the moment, and this song spoke to me. I was jamming out to it in the car, singing windows down, like singing. Get animated with my hands. My little boys now know this song. I'm like, it's not my song. It is not my song. Everyone's song, right? Alright, you can turn it off. Okay, let's do it. Green button, correct? Yes, I do have an accent. Awesome. So, like Justin said, I do have this great husband, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story about him. But before I do that, how many of you have amazing gift buyers in your house, close to you? How many of you have that person that buys the most thoughtful gifts? Raise your hand. I'm super jealous. So, me too. I've been married for about 15 years, and I'm celebrating my 40th birthday. And one of my first years of marriage, my husband and I were working at the University of Arizona, and he brings home this bag. He picks me up and he says, I'm gonna be late. This is sitting in the back seat. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what did you buy at the bookstore for me for my birthday? Cool, you know, my mom taught me it's not about what it looks like, it's about what's inside, and it's the thought that counts. So, it's about time to open the presents. Figure out this is what it looks like inside. It's a wide up ball of tissue. What on earth did you buy me at this bookstore? Okay, I'm gonna get on board, right? It's again the thought that counts. One of my first years of marriage, you know, I'm living away from my house, I'm living in Tucson, thousands of miles away from my family, and I'm opening this present. It is a dolphin ornament. Now my birthday is like right around now, so Christmas is in a couple months. Don't really know what I'm going to do with the dolphin ornament. And a princess necklace for a little girl. I'm thinking, okay, I can get over this, it's alright, again, it's the thought that counts, it's not, it's thoughtful, whatever. So I approach him and I'm like, alright, let's have cake, honey. Like, I'm ready for the cake. I want the cake. He looks at me and says, I didn't buy you cake. I'm sorry, what? You grew up in Wisconsin, I grew up in Illinois, it's not like we have like super different cultural differences. You buy your wife cake for her birthday, right? No cake. Fast forward about a year later, I'm like, you know what? I do not want a repeat of this. This was awful, I felt terrible, I was like, my birthday sucks, I have this dolphin ornament that I'm never going to use. I still have it, by the way, wrapped up somewhere. And this necklace that I definitely threw away because it like turns your neck green. And I went to a bakery around the corner and I said, I'm gonna test some of these bakeries and see how this tastes. I found the best bakery, I still dream about it today, in Tucson, and I got their business card and I wrote down exactly what I wanted from my husband. Buttercream frosting, 10-inch cake. I gave it to him. And you know what? I got that cake for my birthday the following year, and I was really excited. And I know 10 inches sounds like a lot for 2 people, but I saved it and I ate it like throughout the month of October. It was amazing. So what does this have to do? Asking for what you want is a very important skill for women. We need to get used to asking for what we want. Actually, I was at the table, and I had some really interesting conversations about women who step. Now, I know a lot of you have careers, but it's always good to be prepared to ask for things that you still want later on in life. Okay, so why should you listen to me? So, I have a master's in counseling. I have done lots of career counseling in different areas. I worked at the University of Arizona, which is super confusing because we live in Alabama, so sometimes I confuse the states. University of Arizona. I worked at the University of Colorado Springs as a career counselor. I worked at Jacksonville State University as an instructional designer, so I worked with faculty members putting together coursework and things of that nature. I worked as a guidance counselor for college preparatory school, which, by the way, parents of college prep students, that's legit. They want their kids to go in my careers like as soon as possible. I also have a master's of science in educational technology as well. I also work with play techniques for emerging adults, so I decided to put a picture of my prom picture that was 20 years ago. I wish I still fit in the dress. I don't. So what are we going to talk about today? It is very hard sometimes to get people motivated for resumes and negotiation skills. And I'm right before the wine. Thank you, John. So bear with me. We're going to talk about, and I usually do this just a resume talk in 50 minutes, so we're going to go pretty quick here. So we're going to talk about the resume, we're going to talk about the negotiation, and then I'm going to ask some questions for you. So again, I've got 30 minutes to do this, now a little less with my show. We're going to understand why it's important to have a good resume, even if you have a job, or if you're looking, it is very important to have a good resume, and learn negotiation skills if you haven't already, or practice the ones that you have. So the resume, right? There's a couple things in the resume, and like I said, this is just raising the top surface of it, formatting, action verbs, skills, and we're going to have some other helpful tips. So formatting. Use the same formatting throughout. If there's any HR people in the room, it's so, they spend 7.4 seconds on average on a resume. They do not want to read this nonsense, like paragraphs here. She spells the state out here, but abbreviates down here. Have some common formatting. I see some nodding. I feel like you're with me, right? Common formatting. Include the company that you worked for. You are given a title. If you don't have a title, and I tell this to students all the time, make one up. Give yourself a title. If you're a babysitter, you put your babysitter. Yeah. Put a location. Now that's not an address. Gadsden, Alabama would be great. You don't need the exact address. Have a one-page resume, maybe two if you have a lot of experience. If you're applying for USA jobs, I put this disclaimer, it's a whole different ballgame. So they want as much information, and we can talk about that if any of you want to apply for a USA job. Use bullet points. I met with a woman the other day, I was a client, and she had paragraphs upon paragraphs and pages, and I'm thinking, I don't want to read this, let alone an employer doesn't want to read this. How can we streamline this? Bullet points are much easier to read. So here's some examples. You've got, I'll leave this corner somewhere. There we go. So, title, dates, what the company is, where it was, bullet points. Title, dates, bullet points, with action verbs. Very, again, thrilling stuff, people. Action verbs. So use action verbs at the start of every bullet. It's very exciting. Do not use the phrase responsible for. How many of you have a teenager that are responsible for taking out the trash? Or they're responsible for feeding the pet that never gets fed? Don't use responsible. It doesn't show actually what you're doing. And Google is your friend. Google resume action words. If you get stuck, they're super helpful. I Google them. You can even find words that mean the same in the same category, so it's super helpful to use Google. And use different words. Nobody wants to read a resume that says, I created this, and created that, and created this, and created that. Use other words like design, created, entrepreneur. Get creative. college students. They want to put that they're very attentive to detail. And they want to put that they're great listeners. And they want to put that they have long walks on the beach and they're going to be good caretakers of your money. Skills should be measurable. Fluency in a second language. Some kind of computer programming. Do you know Adobe Photoshop? Can you do pivot tables in Microsoft Excel? These are measurable skills. Somebody can test you on this and make sure that you know this. Avoiding skills such as attention to detail. I'm a good listener. I feel like every time I say attention to detail, things are misspelled throughout the resume as well, so I don't know how attentive it is. Leadership. I have great leadership skills. That's wonderful. I belong to these clubs. What did you do for the clubs? So instead of putting it there, put it in your bullet points. Instead of putting, I'm a good listener, tell me how you know you're a good listener. Tell me how you know you're good at being attentive to detail. Use examples in your work to tell me that. Always have questions for the interviewer. It's just nice and common practice. Do you have any questions? Don't say no. Do research on the company. I did some research before I came here, and people were like, oh, you know the speakers? I'm like, absolutely, I know these speakers. I researched them. I saw the TED Talk. Talk to my people. I'm like, I know what you did. You have a book. You have a website. Right? So, and I think there's a JSU table in the back. You like it when people ask questions and do the research, right? You want to see that they want to work for you. And tailor your job to every resume. People make this mistake all the time of handing out blanket resumes. But every job posting has secret information, that they post for you, and you're going to want to use that and put it into your resume. Have someone look at your resume. Make sure that if you are attentive to detail, that you actually show that you're attentive to detail. Use bullet points. Creating a spreadsheet of potential clients that increase sales by 3% in a quarter sounds way better than I'm a leader, right? I would never hire someone like that. So the negotiation. So asking for what you want is a very great skill. And I worked for a school counseling company, a school counseling school. And my peers were like, how come you have all the new office furniture? And how come you got the new laptop? And I asked for it. They were like, you asked for it? Well, yeah, I asked for it. And they said, sure, we'll give it to you. That makes sense. I never thought to do that. So we need to learn to ask for things. You're not going to get it every time. But we need to learn to do it. So, the importance of asking for the negotiation. There's a research study that says women lose on average around $1 million by not asking for salary increases. I talked to a bunch of women recently. They said they didn't even know they could negotiate. That's a big deal. They're losing lots of money from their male counterparts. And men have been shown to negotiate 4 times more. There's a great book. It's not a very good title, but it's Ask For It for Women. And it talks about how women, faculty members, their students were coming to them saying, how come you're giving these opportunities to the males? And the women faculty members thought about that, and they're like, well, they asked more. They asked for it more often, more frequently. And married women often, not only are they working if they have full-time jobs, but they're also doing a lot of the housework. So while my husband is a terrible, terrible gift buyer, he loves to clean the kitchen, he does the dishes every night, and he watches the kids more than I do. So I guess it makes up for it in his lack of good time. But not everybody has that opportunity, right? So know that asking for things is going to make a big difference in your quality of life and your happiness. Trying to stay on track, time-wise. How am I doing? Helpful tips. So, research is a very important thing. Find out what people are getting paid for in your area for the job that you want. Find out the company. Do you even want to work for the company? Maybe yes, maybe no. Write a list of things that you want outside of salary. I met with a client calendar or furniture or a gas card. And I said, write down a list of everything that you could possibly want. You're not going to get it all. But at least you have some negotiation power. This is what I want and this is what I'm willing to take. Not so long ago, Auburn came to me and was like, we want to hire you. And I said, great, let's talk. And they said, we can offer you this much. I said, I can't move. I can't live in two places. My husband has a job here, and I don't, the numbers just didn't work out. And so sometimes you get what you ask for, and sometimes you don't. But if you don't ask for it, you never will get it. And the timing of these things. If you just lost a company of billions of dollars, it's probably not the right time to be like, can I have a new computer? Laughs up here. Yeah, so time it correctly. Did you just finish a big project? Did you save the company thousands of dollars, right? Like, time it appropriately. Practice asking for it. There's a lot of talks today about how women are great at advocating for other women. And that's very true. The research says that if a woman were to ask for your raise for you, a good friend of yours, you'd probably get it. But advocate for yourself. So how would you, if you were your friend advocating for you, what would you say about yourself? And write it down and practice it. Why do you deserve that raise? Why do you deserve that job? Solid resume, good negotiation skills are a great part of your toolbox. There are so many women, like the speaker previously said, that are so unhappy in what they're doing, and they're so unwilling to change or make any change because the status quo is the known is often better than the unknown. And women are so unlikely to step outside that comfort zone if they're fearful or scared. But I want you to take that opportunity and take that chance. Be that light. You are your best advocate, and you should bet on yourself, because I would bet on you betting on yourself. And so many people are so unhappy with their current positions and so unwilling to change. And I want to help promote change in a way that helps women. Careers are something that you spend so much time doing, and you should love what you do. If you don't love what you do, find something that you do love. I heard a great talk by the VP of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and he said, do what melts your butter. What gets you up in the morning, and what melts your butter? For me, I advise and I teach, and I love it. I get to work from home. It's wonderful. I love sweatpants. This is the outfit that I had to go shopping for. I got my Queen's t-shirt and some actual pants. I love working from home. I had to actually commute here and get in my car and drive somewhere. I'm like, oh wow, my car does work. That's awesome. And like I said, I have this amazing husband who takes the kids to and from school, which is, I know that's a blessing. So find something that melts your butter, because it will make a big difference. And there's so many counseling students that I have encountered that steer clear from career counseling. They're like, I don't like it, I want to do mental health. If I have found that if people are not happy in their careers, it affects their mental health in every other area of their life. Thank you so much for having me today. I hope I didn't go over time. I hope I'm okay.